Pray this psalm when you need God to lift you up, seeking divine justice, trusting God with our pain. When life feels unfair, Psalm 35 offers a powerful roadmap for navigating personal injustices. The psalm begins with David crying out to God, pleading for divine intervention against those who wrong him. It's a raw, honest moment that resonates deeply today, especially when we face betrayal, slander, or unfair treatment. The key word here is divine justice, a concept that assures us God sees every wrong and holds the ultimate authority to make things right. Imagine you're at work, pouring your heart into a project, only to have a colleague take credit or spread lies about your efforts. The sting of injustice burns. Your first instinct might be to lash out or plot revenge, but Psalm 35 teaches us a better way. Entrust your grievances to God. David doesn't take matters into his own hands. He lays his pain before the Lord, saying, "Contend, Lord, with those who contend with me." Psalm 35:1. This act of surrender isn't weakness, it's strength rooted in faith. Reflecting on this, I think of a friend who faced false accusations online. The comments were cruel, twisting her character. Instead of firing back, she prayed, journaled, and trusted God to reveal the truth. Over time, the lies unraveled, and her reputation was restored. Her story mirrors David's trust in God's timing. Overcoming injustice requires patience, but it's comforting to know God is our advocate, working behind the scenes. This trust also frees us from the burden of bitterness. Holding on to anger is like carrying a heavy backpack. It weighs us down. By giving our hurts to God, we find peace, knowing He judges righteously. For Christians, this is a cornerstone of faith. God's justice is perfect, unlike human systems that often fail. Psalm 35 reminds us that finding peace comes from releasing control and believing God will act. In today's world, where social media amplifies conflicts, Psalm 35's message is vital. Whether it's a family dispute, workplace drama, or online harassment, we're tempted to fight our own battles. But David shows us that prayer is powerful. It's not passive. It's an active choice to align with God's will. When we pray for justice, we're not just venting, we're partnering with the Creator who sees every detail. This section of Psalm 35 also challenges us to examine our hearts. Are we seeking God's justice or our own version of it? True divine justice isn't about gloating over others' downfall, but about restoring what's right. It's about healing, not harm. As you reflect on Psalm 35's meaning, consider journaling your struggles and praying, "God, I trust you with this pain." It's a step toward freedom. In a culture obsessed with instant fixes, Psalm 35 invites us to slow down and trust God's process. Christian hope shines through David's words, reminding us that no injustice escapes God's notice. Whether you're facing a small slight or a life-altering wrong, Psalm 35 assures you, God is fighting for you. Let that truth bring peace as you navigate life's challenges. Thank you for watching God's Word Inspires. Please subscribe to the channel to give me more motivation. I will pray for God's blessings upon you and your loved ones every day. I hope you enjoy this video. Responding to betrayal with compassion, loving despite hurt. Psalm 35 doesn't just address injustice. It dives into the heart-wrenching reality of betrayal. David shares how he prayed for his enemies' well-being, even fasting for them, only to be met with malice. Psalm 35:13-14. This part of the psalm hits hard because betrayal is universal. Whether it's a friend's gossip, a family member's rejection, or a partner's broken trust, the pain cuts deep. Yet David's response, compassion despite hostility, offers a radical way to heal. Keywords like responding to betrayal and Christian compassion make this message timeless. Picture this. You've supported a friend through tough times, listening to their struggles late into the night. Then, out of nowhere, they turn on you, spreading rumors. Your heart sinks. The temptation to retaliate is strong, but Psalm 35 challenges us to rise above. David treated his adversaries like family, mourning their pain as if it were his own. This Christian compassion isn't easy, it's supernatural, rooted in God's love. I recall a story from a church group where a woman, Sarah, forgave a coworker who sabotaged her promotion. Instead of bitterness, Sarah prayed for her coworker's struggles, knowing they stemmed from insecurity. Over time, their relationship softened, and the coworker apologized. Sarah's choice to show kindness didn't erase the hurt, but it freed her from resentment. That's the power of Psalm 35's teaching. This compassion doesn't mean ignoring boundaries. David still asks God to deal with his enemies. He's not pretending the betrayal didn't happen. Similarly, we can protect ourselves while choosing love over hate. Finding peace after betrayal starts with refusing to let someone else's actions define us. As Christians, we're called to reflect Jesus, who loved even those who crucified him. In our polarized world, where arguments flare online and grudges fester, Psalm 35's call to compassion stands out. It's easy to demonize those who hurt us, but David reminds us they're human, with their own struggles. Maybe the person who betrayed you is battling fear or pain you can't see. Praying for them, as David did, shifts your perspective. It's not about excusing their actions, but about releasing their hold on your heart. This approach also builds resilience. When we respond to evil with good, we grow stronger in faith. Overcoming injustice isn't just about external victory, it's about inner transformation. Psalm 35 shows that compassion can be a weapon against despair, turning victims into victors through God's grace. For viewers searching for Psalm 35 meaning, this section offers hope. Betrayal doesn't have the final word. By choosing compassion, we align with God's heart, trusting Him to handle the rest. Try this. Next time someone hurts you, pause and pray for them. It's hard, but it's healing. Psalm 35 assures us that God sees our efforts and honors our choice to love, anticipating divine deliverance, holding on to hope. Psalm 35 pulses with expectation. David, surrounded by enemies, doesn't despair. He anticipates God's deliverance with joy. Psalm 35:9. This hope isn't wishful thinking. It's a confident trust that God will act. In a world where delays and disappointments abound, this message of divine deliverance and Christian hope speaks loudly, offering comfort to anyone feeling stuck or oppressed. Think about a time you waited for a breakthrough, a job offer, a restored relationship, or relief from stress. Waiting tests our faith, but Psalm 35 encourages us to stay hopeful. David's certainty that God sees his struggle, Psalm 35:22, reminds us we're never invisible to the Creator. Keywords like finding peace and trusting God's timing resonate with anyone seeking encouragement. I once met a man named James who lost his business to a dishonest partner. For months he felt defeated, but he clung to verses like Psalm 35, praying for restoration. Slowly new opportunities emerged, a better partnership, a fresh start. James's story reflects David's journey. Hope sustained him until God moved. Overcoming injustice often requires waiting, but Psalm 35 promises God is working. This anticipation isn't passive. David praises God before the victory arrives, showing active faith. For us, this might mean worshiping during hardship or thanking God for answers still unseen. It's a mindset shift that brings peace amid chaos. In our fast-paced culture where instant results dominate, Psalm 35's call to patience is countercultural, yet freeing. For those searching Psalm 35 meaning, this section highlights God's faithfulness. Whether you're battling illness, financial strain, or emotional wounds, David's example encourages you to lift your eyes. God's deliverance may not look like you expect, but it's always perfect. Try writing down 3 ways God has helped you in the past. It'll strengthen your hope for the future. Psalm 35 ends with a vision of community. David imagines the righteous rejoicing together when God vindicates him. Psalm 35, verse 27-28. This isn't just personal triumph, it's a shared celebration of God's justice. In our individualistic world, this emphasis on communal support and Christian fellowship feels revolutionary, reminding us we're stronger together. Imagine facing a crisis alone versus with friends who pray for you. The difference is night and day. David recognizes this, longing for a community that shares his burdens and joys. Keywords like finding peace and shared faith connect with viewers craving connection. A friend of mine, Lisa, leaned on her church group during a divorce. Their prayers and encouragement carried her through. That's the power of Psalm 35's vision. This communal aspect also challenges us to support others. When someone in your circle is vindicated, maybe they overcome a false accusation or heal from trauma, celebrate with them. It builds bonds and glorifies God. Overcoming injustice feels sweeter when shared, like a team cheering a hard-won victory. For those exploring Psalm 35 meaning, this section underscores that faith isn't solitary. Joining a Bible study or small group can amplify your spiritual growth. David's words invite us to find strength in unity. Trusting God's justice binds us together. Reach out to someone today. Your support could be their lifeline. Let Psalm 35 anchor your soul in the storm. Psalm 35 is more than just a prayer of desperation. It's a mirror of the human heart in distress and a testimony of faith in the face of injustice, betrayal, and uncertainty. As we reflect on David's words, one truth becomes clear. We are not alone in our pain, and our cries for help are not ignored. This psalm reminds us that God sees, God knows, and God acts, often in ways we don't expect, and always in His perfect time. David's life wasn't easy. He was hunted by Saul, betrayed by those close to him, and falsely accused. But in all of that, he did something we often forget to do. He turned to God first. He didn't run to revenge or bitterness. He brought his heartbreak, confusion, and anger straight to the Lord. And that's a powerful example for us. Whether we're feeling overwhelmed by a situation at work, blindsided by someone we trusted, or struggling with silent battles in our hearts, we too can pray like David did, with honesty, humility, and hope. There's something beautiful about the raw emotion in Psalm 35. David doesn't sugarcoat his pain or hide his desire for justice. And yet, he doesn't allow that desire to consume him either. He doesn't lose sight of who God is. He believes in a God who rescues, redeems, and restores. That's the kind of faith that carries us when nothing else makes sense. If you've ever been in a place where you felt like your voice didn't matter, where people misunderstood your intentions, or where you were attacked for simply trying to do what's right, Psalm 35 is your prayer. It's your anthem. It gives you permission to cry out, to grieve, and also to let go, and let God carry what's too heavy for you. This psalm also teaches us a deeper kind of strength, the strength of surrender. In a world that celebrates self-defense and getting even, Psalm 35 calls us to something greater, trust. It reminds us that we don't have to carry the burden of proving ourselves or punishing those who've wronged us. God sees the full picture, and He is our defender. And in that trust, we find peace. Not because everything is perfect, but because we know who holds justice in His hands. It's not weakness to let go of revenge. It's wisdom. It's freedom. It's choosing faith over fear, love over anger, and peace over resentment. Psalm 35 also reminds us of the importance of our response. How do we respond when we're hurt, when we're betrayed, when we feel like the world is against us? David's response wasn't perfect, but it was real. He chose to bring his pain into prayer. And over time, that kind of prayer softens our hearts, reshapes our mindset, and deepens our relationship with God. In the latter verses of the psalm, David looks forward to a day when God will vindicate him, and the righteous will rejoice together. That vision of communal celebration is so important in today's isolated world. We weren't meant to carry our burdens alone. The support of others, the prayers of a community, and the shared joy of healing and justice, that's where God often meets us in the most tangible ways. So maybe today, you're in the middle of your own Psalm 35 moment. Maybe you're still waiting for vindication. Maybe you're wrestling with forgiving someone who deeply wounded you. Or maybe you just need to know that God hears your cry. Let Psalm 35 be your reminder. Your tears are not wasted, your pain is not forgotten, and your prayers are not in vain. Let's choose to be people who pray boldly, love deeply, and trust fully, even when it's hard. Let's be a community that lifts each other up, that celebrates every step of healing, and that believes justice is not only possible, it's promised. When you don't know what else to do, pray Psalm 35. Let its words guide you, let its message ground you, and let its hope lift you. After watching, remember to like, subscribe to the channel, and comment on the video. I have many good videos to share. Learn to give, and God will give peace to you and your family.